Shane Peacock from Enoch Cree Nation ahead of Truth and Reconciliation Day tomorrow. Morning, Shane. Thanks for coming in, big guy.
Good morning, Kevin.
Can you believe it's like over 30 years since we first met?
Yeah, it's pretty
30 years.
amazing.
Yeah. In Lethbridge, you were playing for the Hurricanes. I worked at the TV station there back in the day for just a short time. But I was thinking, man, 30 years. We had Brant Myers on the other day. He had his launch, Mizey. And it's like, man, where did the time go, huh?
Certainly passes fast.
It sure does, in the blink of an eye. Text just came in from the J-Dog. I used to go to Bill LaForge's hockey camp out at Enoch in the 80s. Shane would literally skate circles around everyone if and when he wanted to. The dude could wheel and had pretty sick mitts back then. Remember those days?
I absolutely do. Bill LaForge was my first coach out in Enoch.
Yep.
He was a big part of what we did back then. He ran our recreation area and our teams. And, you know, I give a lot of credit to him and his family for giving back to the community like they did at that time. So it was really awesome for us. And I remember those days just like yesterday.
So how old were you at that time? Like we're talking like 13, 14 years old, something like that?
No, so it'd be the early days.
Even earlier.
Yeah,
okay.
Right from the start of hockey to the Bantam Pee Wee age right through that.
So where did you play, like before we get to Lethbridge and when we first met? So where did you play your minor hockey and how, because it's changed.
Oh, it's definitely
right now,
changed.
boy, is it ever.
So yeah, everything started on the Nation. Like I said, Bill LaForge was my first coach. We were lucky to have him at that time. Played with my Nation members, and at that time we had mixed teams because we drew from the acreages nearby, which was awesome. And then as you know, my game progressed and got a little bit older, knew that my opportunity to continue to play good hockey would have to come into City Edmonton. So made the jump into CAC, Canadian Athletic Club. Had 2 great years there. That was back when they first made that shift for from Pee Wee to Bantam, that age change for contact.
Right, yeah.
So I never really played Pee Wee. I went straight into Bantam.
Okay.
And I played as underage for both years.
Okay.
From there, continued just wanting more and having some guidance and direction from friends and family. Again, Bill LaForge and some other people that were around me and my family at that time. And the recommendation was, hey, let's take a look at Notre Dame. Went and had an early look in the spring that year and thought to myself, well, this might be the place for me, and made the jump there. So went to Notre Dame for 2 years from grade 9, grade 10, 14, 15-year-old. You know, I give that place so much credit for what I did in my career, set me on my path, gave me all the characteristics that were needed. And, you know, by the time I got to Lethbridge as a 16-year-old, you know, hockey was life.
Yeah.
And like you started the show that we met in Lethbridge. I have fond memories of Lethbridge. I was actually there just at training camp. My 2 older children are at the NEX or Northern Alberta Extreme.
Yeah.
And I wanted to get them excited for the year. So I took them down to Lethbridge to show them what training camp looks like down there. I still have a lot of great connections throughout the organization, right from the general manager, Pete Anholt, to my old GM at the time, Bob Bartlett, and all the scouting staff. So I know all the guys there, and it was fun.
Let's go back to Notre Dame then. And you said that kind of shaped and molded you because, you know, for a young guy, you know, you're going far away from home. And I mean, I know Notre Dame well, you know, growing up in Saskatchewan, so know all about it and what the program and what the school was, you know, back in the day. It was, you know, technically, if you think about it, where all the academies are now, Notre Dame was the groundbreaker.
Absolutely. They were the groundbreaker for sure. You know, I was speaking with my son about that because they actually just played there this weekend.
Yeah.
He couldn't believe how small it was and where it was. And that's where I went. And I said, well, you know, son, that was the only place at the time that was sort of the hockey mecca. That was where you went if you wanted to continue hockey, other than the club system.
Yeah.
You know, for myself, absolutely. It's I can remember the day that my parents left me, and I say it that way because it was harder on them than it was for me. But I only found out about that 30 plus years later.
Yeah.
I remember standing on if anybody's ever been to Wilcox or to Notre Dame, there's a mound, large hill in between the 2 dorms, the two large boy dorms, and I stood there and I watched my parents drive away as far as I could down the dusty trail and turned around. I said, well, I wanted to be here. I want to be a hockey player. And that's what I did. But man, I give that place so much credit.
Were you scared? Like, I mean, you're a First Nations kid. You're again 14 years old. Like, what were your thoughts back then?
Yeah, definitely. Nervous, anxiety, all the pieces, but you don't know that as a kid. All I knew and what I could rely on was I was here to play hockey, get an education. This was the place to be at the time. And it's just like anything. Now I'll speak about this later, but my uncle Wilton Littlechild, who's my spiritual guide, he always says when you compare education with sport, that's a beautiful thing because lots of good things happen. And that's exactly what happened for me.
Well, let's go there right now then with Chief Willie, former Alberta Golden Bear. I interviewed him last year because there's going to be a documentary out on him that Don Metz and a couple other guys are doing right now. But what did he mean to you, and what does he still mean to you, I guess?
He means everything. Like I said, right from the very start, he's my spiritual guide. We've always had a connection that, we can't even really explain. We just know it's there. And for him to guide me through my hockey and my education, he's always there. The presence of him. And to see the impact that he's done for all of our First Nations, not only his own community, but all First Nations. He's overly active, is putting it mild. He's always on the go, but he's got purpose in life, and that's what I see, and that's the impact that he's put on me to make a good impact in a good way.
Shane Peacock with us in the Sports 1440 studio. So that impact that he has had with you, now do you see yourself going, I have to continue that for the next generation of First Nations kids, athletes, scholars, things like that?
Absolutely. I've been a part of Enoch's leadership for a number of years. That's the way I've tried to guide myself in that direction of doing things for the right purpose, the betterment of all of us. But my pathway is obviously through sport, and that's hockey. I've coached obviously with my children, but it was never only to coach my child on any one team. It's the betterment of everybody. And when you think that way and you hold yourself with that kind of purpose, good things happen. When I speak to the teams that I've coached over the years, I said, I want you to love the game. I want you to enjoy the game. That's the fun in it. But long term, I hope that you're giving back the way I am now, that you're having the opportunity with your children to teach them the game and let them see where they want to go. And that's one of the coolest things.
Even going back, I always, my dad used to know, like Freddie Sasakamoose, and that's probably when you go back in his days when he went to Chicago with the Blackhawks, he had a tough time. He had a hard time. Has it changed in your view how First Nations kids have been able to handle things better? Or like, what do you think about that?
My opinion on that is there's more opportunity. I think our nations, our communities are really looking after our children, our youth that are having opportunity. They see the skill, the talent. Now they're getting the support. And with all that coming forward, now there are more opportunities to really showcase what kind of talent we have. All our First Nations and all our communities know we have really, really talented athletes. It's breaking down the barriers which have come down, and it's interesting because part of the reason with it coming up with Truth and Reconciliation is some of that. Is giving more opportunity and taking advantage, not advantage, taking that step forward in the right way. That's a better way of putting it.
The opportunity.
Yes.
And you have to be able to seize it. And that's everyone. That's everything in every walk of life.
Absolutely.
And I mean, it just happens to be what we're talking about here. But when you were a younger guy, like when you went to Lethbridge, did you feel that you were all the steps that, like, maybe you learned it at Notre Dame, I don't know, but did you learn something along the way that you kept continually growing as an individual, even as like a hockey player, but as a person?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, going through my hockey as a youth all the way through, you have to get better. You have to put the time and discipline into who you are and the person that you are. Uh, that's what molds you, and that's what gave me an opportunity to play a
Mhm.
really long time in this game and make a career out of it. And um, you know, did I face obstacles? Absolutely.
Yeah.
I can clearly state that I faced racism right in the face all
Yeah.
the way through. I love junior hockey. If people ask me about junior hockey playing in Lethbridge, that's the time period I would go back to
Mhm.
if I were able to do it again.
Yeah.
Because all I did was go to school, play hockey, and then not have to worry about too many things. And
Mhm.
that was this pure love of the game. Some of the hardest times were during that time too. And that was due to the racism and the things that happened. And, things have changed a lot.
Yeah.
Um, for me, I had to learn, I had to show myself that I was here with purpose. That purpose was to continue to play as far as I can, right?
Yeah.
Um, so my wife doesn't like when I talk about this sometimes, but like instead of fighting in some situations, I chose to play harder.
Yeah.
And that made me a better player, definitely. But sometimes I wish I went back and maybe,
Mhm.
threw the cuffs a little bit more.
Who were some of the guys in Lethbridge that, the teammates that you remember and had the good times with? And I mean, you guys were a high flying offense back then.
Yeah, no, you know what? I had to really that's part of junior hockey.
Yeah.
You make long lasting, lifelong relationships
Mhm.
there. From the early days, it's West Walls and uh, Jamie McLennan,
Mhm.
Noodles.
Noodles, yeah.
Noodles is, right from day one, you knew he was going to go somewhere in the media or broadcast world
Yeah.
or whatever he wanted. Dusty Emu, that's the early days, like I said. A little bit later on, Jamie Pusher, Dominic Pittis,
Yeah.
Darcy Rankin, Brad Zimmer. Those
Mhm.
are the two guys I broke into the league with. Those kind of relationships, they're still there.
Yeah. Pittis, he was a hell of a player, eh?
Oh, he was a heck of a player,
Yeah.
skilled. Uh, that was that connection, and then I always remember it because he was a heck of a football soccer player,
Mhm.
and the footwork that he had at that time was crazy.
Yeah. Who were all the coaches you had? Because I know Rob Dahm was always Jeff Truitt was there too.
Yeah.
Who else was there for your
Uh,
coaches?
so that was it. So Bob Lux and Rob Dahl.
Okay, Bobby Laux though
Yes.
too. That was before Dom, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And Jeff Truitt, I mean, I've known him for a long, long time too.
Yep.
So really, really good guy. When you left Lethbridge, and I think you told me this too, Shane Peacock with us on Sports 1440, go to Kalamazoo, and the coach there had a massive influence on how you continue to develop as a player.
Absolutely. No, I played my full junior career in Lethbridge.
Yeah.
Things unfortunately didn't work out in Pittsburgh. A little bit tough, and I say this all the time with
Mhm.
this. When they're winning back-to-back cups, it's hard to make room for a young guy coming up.
Yeah.
So that opportunity was passed, but I was at a crossroads, and Ken Hitchcock gave me a call out of the blue, asked what my situation was, and I was straight up with him. I'm trying to figure out what my options are, and
Mhm.
he just gave me the line that you come play for me, I'll make you a pro.
Yeah.
And that's all I needed to hear, and I give him so much credit simply for the longevity of my pro hockey career.
Yeah. What was he like? I mean, for a guy, you're 21 years old, right?
Yep.
So you go to Kalamazoo, and then it was, they called it the Michigan K-Wings after that, right?
Yep. He was demanding.
Yeah.
And it's easy to see why he gets good teams and builds good
Mhm.
teams. He's demanding. He knows the game inside out. The brilliant mind. If you want to talk hockey, and we hear this often, like when we see like the Olympics coming up, the hockey brain trust of
Yeah.
Hockey Canada, they know what they're talking about.
Mhm.
And that was the one thing that with Ken, he knew how to draw that out of every player, out of his teams, and that's what he did for me.
Mhm.
He understood what kind of role I would be playing at the pro level. Wasn't there to fight. Wasn't there to be the guy that stuck up and dropped the gloves. It was to be on the ice and run the power play and make things move.
Talk about some of your teammates in Kalamazoo and then Michigan that you remember there.
So right from the start, I'll go, and it's always this way, right?
Yeah.
This is the way we talk. I'll go with the old guys. Brad Berry, Dave Barr, Smitty, I'm losing his first
Derek
name.
Smith.
Derek Smith.
Yep.
So these guys are long-term time NHL. They're kind of on their last year or two. And, what an influence to go into. My first year in Kalamazoo, I think we counted 17 first rounders.
Is that right?
Total.
Who was your D partner?
So I had Bradbury was one of them. Jason Herder, which I went to school with at Notre Dame, and then later on played with in Europe or in Germany. Those were good times.
I'm just even like there's a lot of Edmonton guys even on the team. That Dave Chizowski was just there for a short time. Craig Bonner,
Bonds, yeah,
another Edmonton guy. Richard Matvichuk, was there 17 games he played. So Claude Noel was the assistant coach. Was he your D coach or how?
He was the D coach.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. But as you said, Mark Peterson, Dave Barr. Dave Barr was 33 years old at the time.
Yeah. It's crazy to think he was old when I was there.
Yeah. Well, you're 21.
Yeah.
I also looking at guys that are in your kind of age group. Grant Marshall.
Yes.
21.
Yep.
Marshy. Yep. As you said, Herder's 23. So a lot of Colin Bauer, another Edmonton guy.
Yep.
So there's a lot of connections. Maybe it was Hitch. I don't know. Was it, he's scouting all the Edmonton guys, I guess.
Yeah. You know what? He, again, as much as he's the hockey mind, he keeps track of everybody. That's one thing I learned after when he moved on to Dallas, had a conversation with them. And then even beyond after he was done coaching, like he keeps an eye on the league. He knows where things are moving and what needs any one team needs.
Yeah.
It's an amazing world, the hockey world.
Yeah. We're going to take a quick break. We'll come back more with Shane Peacock. We'll talk about his time over in Europe, a long career in Europe after 3 years of a semi-pro down in Kalamazoo in Michigan. That's coming up right after the break. Kevin Carius, Duke of Delburn, and Shane Peacock in studio on Sports 1440. We're streaming on YouTube and X. We got Shane Peacock in studio, long-time professional hockey player, and Truth and Reconciliation Day ahead of us tomorrow. Maybe just touch on that. Before we get to your career in Germany, Shane, and I guess what the day means to you, your family. Just maybe a thought on that.
Yeah, it's grown over the years. It's always been there. The awareness, it's coming up on 10 years, right?
Yeah.
It is 10 years. For me, myself, and my family, it's just being together. To look at the children that I have and know that I'm looking to put them in a better place. And I think that's, in everybody's mind or view, that's what you want. You want your children to have better than what you've had. And, if you look at Truth and Reconciliation of what it is, that's a broken system for a lot of our people, Indigenous people that have gone through all this. And it's a time of healing, and it's a time and place that we're still finding our way how to heal properly. I think the steps have been there. I get asked a lot from the outside world or just in conversation, what can I do or how can I do better? And it's simple. It's finding and understanding. The whole idea of Truth and Reconciliation is Canada and Indigenous peoples have history.
Yeah.
And the more you know about it, the more you're going to understand the side of First Nations or Indigenous peoples.
I don't even know how to phrase this, but like, where do you think it's at, and where does it need to get to?
I think it's in its infancy. Really, it's 10 years.
Yeah.
But 10 years compared to, we'll say, just signing of treaties. Those are over 100 years old, right? Those treaties are older than Canada, so we're still early in the process. Do I think it can get better? Absolutely. I think it's on both sides. Indigenous peoples and non-Indigenous need to understand that we're still healing and trying to find our way out of it. And the non-Indigenous side is truly giving not the handout, but a hand up. And we say that often in First Nation country. It's really showing that you want to have the relationship and the true partnership to look after each other, to do better. And I'm not a true, it's not the word. As far as treaty and treaty rights, like I have my understanding of what it is. And our treaties were meant for all of us to share the land and have an understanding.
Mhm.
So if we can get back to that thought for the treaty, along with truth and reconciliation, where we have better understanding of both sides and how to move forward, I think that's where we need to get to. And I think that's the intent of the 94 calls to action. It's a long list of where we need to get to in a lot of different areas, and we see some of the growth pieces in it for sure. Economically, for our nations to be involved and the consultation, those are keys to all this, and that's what will continue to grow on. So where we are, we're still in the early phases, but as we continue to learn and understand how to work together, and even government is trying to figure this out, and that's one of the things that when more Canadians understand how the government between Canada and our provinces work with nations, then it will make it a little bit better with the understanding of what our history is.
Mhm. Well said. Okay. Um, After your 3 years in playing in Kalamazoo in the K-Wings, another opportunity presents itself, and now you're going to go to Europe.
Yeah.
How did that all come about? Like, was that, and again, now you're probably what, 24 years old.
So that strictly came out of the fact that Dallas made their run for their cup run. I had great seasons or years in Kalamazoo. Hitch said that he promised what he said. He made me a pro. Unfortunately, I didn't get the opportunity to move up and be with the big team. That ended up being right when first expansion came out, and I begged and pleaded. Sounds a little bit harsh, but it's kind of true. That please don't put me on a protected list, and they did. The only way out of that situation was to look at other options, and Europe came up, and that's how I ended up in Germany, in Dusseldorf, and what a great stop for my first stop in Europe.
How's the German?
It's definitely faded. But this time of year, especially with the social media that we have these nowadays with TikTok and Instagram,
Yeah.
Oktoberfest always comes back, and all the guys that I played up, we talk about how it'd be nice to be back there and have some fun that way. But yeah, no, so the German has definitely faded. I do have a lot of social media friends. I'll tell you a really quick story, really cool one. So part of what we do on the nation for our minor hockey and some of our charity work, we work the Oilers 50-50. So I was at one of the Oiler games. I was working the 50-50, and I find myself in the midst of this large German group. Have a quick conversation. They still remember who I was and where I played, and what they done on that trip. It was like there was 50 or 60 of them. They booked the group tour. They came specifically to follow the Oilers. So they saw an Oilers game. I think it was Calgary, Edmonton, Vancouver, but it was the only home game. But it was really cool because they remember me, and then the whole social media thing kind of popped up from that. But yeah, going to Europe was one of the best things, absolute best things I did in my life, my career. The opportunity to see another part of the world, and the game's fun. It's a different atmosphere, and I think North Americans, Canadians see that more often, like especially at the World Championships, but at the level, the highest levels in any one of the leagues, it's good hockey.
Yeah.
It's fun, it's fast, and you get treated well for it.
Yeah. What did you like about, again, so the ice surface is bigger, and for you being the type of player you were, where you had incredible vision, how did you use that to your advantage?
Yeah, no, having the bigger space, it gives you a little bit more time so you can see the play develop. But more importantly, you can take advantage of turnovers, right? And that's what hockey is, anyways, in general. But because you have bigger space, now you give more opportunity on any one given turnover. And when you can read the ice, like in general with the bigger spaces, now just putting pucks into open space becomes a big deal.
Yeah. So Dusseldorf, Munich, Hamburg, Nuremberg. What were the differences between those cities?
Basically north-south.
Yeah. Okay.
So Dusseldorf, actually, yeah, Dusseldorf was more in the west, Munich and Nuremberg to the south, Hamburg to the north. And I'll say this, and I've always said this: all my best German friends are Bavarian. So the Bavarians are down in the south of Germany. There's a known fact or a study that's out there that the south gets like 50 to 58 more days more sunlight, and they're just much happier. And for whatever reason, I do get along with my Bavarian buddies the best. And when I look at where they are now, they're running the German national team. They're running all of the DEL, either coaches, general managers, and that's awesome to see, because those are guys that we battled with or against that are now taking care of that league.
And we talked to a couple teammates. Do you still? And again, you just talked about social media. Do you still keep in touch with a lot of the guys?
Not as much as I think we're getting a little bit older.
Yeah.
A little bit slower with social media, but that's okay. We do have different group texts or handles that come out every so often that bring up the memories, and which is great. There's some groups there, and I speak to this one often because it's the only championship that I won.
And that was in Munich.
In Munich, when you have a season go that way, and to be with a group of guys to win and go to battle and to succeed with, that will always stay with you. And I think that's one of the beautiful things of sport. And I'll always hold Munich as a very fond place in my heart. And, and Germany, it gave me an opportunity to see another part of the world and longevity in the game.
When did you know that you were going to have to, we can't play the game forever, but when did you know that, I'm kind of running out of runway here?
Yeah. I thought I'd play and sort of be like a Yarmer Jaeger or somebody like that would play and play and play. What it came down to is my wife and I chose to not have a family early. So we waited a little bit later, and that wasn't until I was 36. My wife's a couple years older. But we've watched families come over, 2-3 young kids, maybe their dogs, 10 hockey bags, that kind of situation. And we're still there as the young married couple, but we've got no family attachment yet. So as we got a little bit older, for me, what hit me was, I could play another 3 or 4 or 5 years, but we need to start setting roots at home, which is starting a family. And so we did. We had our first, and I played my last season. I didn't make a decision at that time. I had another 3-year contract, and then just looked at my wife and said, "You know what? It's time to go."
Yeah. And did you know you were going to come back to Edmonton right away?
No. So actually, in between all my years between Kalamazoo and being in Germany, our home base was in Nanaimo, BC. That's where my in-laws were. It's a little bit hard, or it's so beautiful out there that we wanted to try and make it work out there.
Yeah.
But at that time, things moved quite a bit slower on the island. And my best opportunity after a couple of years in Nanaimo was to come home. And I was thankful for the nation. I went straight into being the general manager at the River Cree Twin Rings.
Yeah. So kids, 16, 13, and 10, what are the kids up to?
Kids are busy. They're keeping me up at night. Like I said, had 2 away this weekend, both getting home on Saturday and Sunday, 2 and 3:30 in the morning. So dad's a little bit tired, but love it. I said that to my son this morning when I picked him up. I said, I miss this.
Yeah.
I truly do. But for them, I'm super proud of them. I'm so happy for where they are in their young careers, or where they want to be. They're at Northern Alberta Extreme, NAX. They're good players. It's what they want, and they'll end up where they. At the end of the day, it's up to them where they end up. More importantly, the education piece. They're strong academically, which was huge. I was never really worried about my daughter too much, but when my son surprised us last year and the way he's continued, that's great. Then of course there's my youngest. She's 10 years old. Really only in her second full year of hockey, so it's a kind of a start over or do over. But it's great because that's the team I'll be coaching this year. Okay. I did last year. That's some of the parts I spoke to earlier. it's seeing the young faces and all the opportunity and joy that comes with playing the game.
What do you get out of coaching?
It's the excitement, it's the fun. It's, I say it, and I say it often with the groups that I've coached over the years. When you step on that ice and you feel that cool breeze, everything fades away. And that's the feeling that I see every day when I'm out there with the young ones. And for me, it's just put them in a better place. My motto is everybody gets better together.
Yeah.
And, when you think that way, and your team will feel it, everybody will enjoy it, everybody gets to play. And, there's so much you can get caught up in the hockey world, but if you enjoy the moment and who you have, that's the best part. I tell my kids, my team's very first practice, once we hit the ice or in the dressing room before we go out, I get them look each other in the eye. And I get them to understand this is your team for the year. So we're going to enjoy each other and we're going to get better together.
Yeah. Shane Peacock with us in the Sports 1440 studios. Am I missing anything here? Just as we wrap things up with, tomorrow and anything that you wanted to add, maybe that.
Sure.
I
got a couple of things.
Sure.
I know for us on the nation, we've got a walk that we do within the community. We'll do that in the morning. That we'll start at our church. We walk over to our school and kind of do a roundabout and end up back at the church for a meal, which is always nice. It's good, just that community feel. Then in the afternoon at the River Cree venue for our community members or our members, we have a whole day full of activities. On last Friday, we did our Every Child Matters round dance. For us, being tied to our culture is part of our healing. And when we can gather and get together and be together in the right way, that's what we're looking for. And that's part of the reconciliation part for us.
Yeah. And it's not it's one day tomorrow, but it's just all the time.
It's year round. That's why we have our powwows. That's why we have our round dances, other cultural pieces that we do throughout the year. You ask the question, where are we at with the way I see things? And you hear this word quite often. It's where we need to go to is truth and reconciliation. We got to put a lot more things in action from those 94 calls.
Yeah.
And even on the drive over this morning, hearing on the different radio stations how social media Canada are going to recognize that it's the National Day of Truth and Reconciliation. And it serves the purpose of the better understanding. And when we get to the better understanding of both sides, Indigenous, non-Indigenous, we're going in the right direction. And, I'm really thankful for the people that led it. Marie Sinclair and Uncle Willie. It's a healing process that Canada needs.